2000s R&B, man. Where do I begin? This decade has given us some of the most beautiful music coming from the most legendary artists of our time. From Chris Brown, Mario, Neo, Life Jennings, Fantasia, Sierra, Beyonce, Alicia Keys, Jennifer Hudson, dear lord, man. R&B and hip-hop duos were still going strong, love was still in style, and with all that came powerful vocals that shine through every track. With this being the last decade R&B truly shined, I just wanted to shed some light on it and talk about why I feel the magic of 2000s R&B is simply unmatched. Y'all ready? Let's get into it.
For this album, I wanted to collaborate because I wanted to grow, and I feel like I'm always looking for a way to grow.
We cannot talk about the magic of 2000s R&B without talking about the backbone of it. That being the beats, man. The beats during this era was crazy, man. All thanks to producers like the Neptunes, who gave us Usher's You Don't Have to Call, Timbaland, who not only gave us Aaliyah's final few hits of the 2000s, but also one of Justin Timberlake's best songs to date, that being Until the End of Time. We had Jermaine Dupri, who gave us my favorite Mariah Carey song of all time, that being We Belong Together, and Scott Storch, who gave us Chris Brown's debut song, Run It. With these producers, I feel like we had three different styles of R&B beats that was prominent in the mainstream. Those three styles being simplistic, real, and glittery. And yeah, I just made them names up, but hold on, hear me out. Now the simplistic sound, I don't think needs too much explanation, you know what I'm saying? A couple of sounds going on in the melody, kick, snare or snap, little bit of percussion, if any, hi-hats if necessary. Simply put, not that much going on, but enough to get the job done. A couple of examples I can think of is Where the Party At, and once again, We Belong Together. The real, again, I feel is self-explanatory. Just real instruments, piano, guitar, real drums, something getting played by hand. And the glittery sound, that's met with a highly processed beat, sounding smooth, energetic, happy, sometimes chill and airy, with the singer bringing bright, bubbly vocals to the mix. Now this sound is more associated with teen boppy type music, you know what I'm saying? Like Jhené Aiko in her early years, Tiffany Evans. But even with these different type of beat styles back then, they all had one thing in common, and that's this certain angelic vibe to them. The heartwarming angelic vibe that lets you know you were listening to R&B. And the production skills of this era is something that, as a producer myself, I still strive to achieve. And with the beats bringing the vibe, the only thing left was for the artists to bring them vocals.
We're about to bring out an up-and-coming R&B artist who's starting to run it. 106, give it up for Chris Brown.
The singing of this decade was truly something special, bro. These singers had range, runs, riffs, belts. Whatever you needed, they had it, man. Like I mentioned with the variety of beats back then, to match that came a variety of voices. We had the soft singers like Sierra, Ashanti, Navia. These singers may not have had the vast vocal range like the others, but what they lacked in one area, they made up for in another, with their smooth, emotional, and feel-good vocals. Then you had the raw, raspy singers like Alicia Keys, Anthony Hamilton, Life Jennings, Fantasia. These singers may have had a little raspiness in their voice, but that did not stop them from the range that they was able to tackle. The raspiness of their voice just made whatever they was talking about that much more heartfelt, that much more soulful. Then we have the more pop R&B singers who have a universal appeal. Singers like Neo, Mario, Chris Brown, Rihanna. They have voices where you can tell they can sing, but they ain't going too crazy with their vocals. They ain't going too out of whack with how they use their voice. They mostly just stay in a digestible, smooth tone. But even being set in these categories, they all have something unique about them that makes you come back to them specifically. Sierra's voice is way more soft and whispery, while Ashanti's is high-pitched and airy. Anthony Hamilton has pain in his voice, while Life Jennings is way more calm and collected. Chris's voice has some whine to it, while Mario is way more fluttery. And it's these small, slight differences that make you want to go with one artist instead of another. And that's something you can really appreciate about 2000s R&B, you know what I'm saying? Everybody sounded different. Everybody's voice was distinct from one another. And while we're talking about R&B vocals of the 2000s, there's just one more side of things that I cannot forget to mention. White people. For the white singers of the 2000s used to go crazy. We had Tanisha Kelly coming out the gate with crazy vocals, JoJo, who at the age of 13 was blowing half the competition out the water, Elliot Yaman, fresh off American Idol, with Wait For You, and even Pink, bro. Pink, when she first popped off, people for real thought she was light-skinned, bro. And to be real, I could kinda see it, I can't lie. But even with these amazing vocal performances, it would be nothing but gibberish without the focal point of what R&B was built off of.
Baby, I love you and I'll never let you go. But if I have to, boy, I think that you should know.
When love was still at the forefront of R&B, when the belief and image of a true loving relationship still existed, was still spoken about. Love and relationships was talked about through all ends. Through the little sweetheart songs about singing about your crushes in school, Puppy Love. This was really going crazy with a lot of the young artists, like B2K, B5, Chris Brown. These songs used to hit back in the day, man. Had you looking out the window on the car ride, thinking about your crush? Then we had songs about the mature love, about sticking it through with your partner, through all the trials and tribulations. That's when Life Jennings and Jaheim came into play. You ain't never hear nobody sing their hearts out about sticking together like these two. But sometimes, it just don't work. And that's when the Heartbreak songs come into play. Songs ranging from I Did You Wrong or You Did Me Wrong, begging for him to come back. And when I say begging, I mean there was no shame in getting on your knees and begging for your girl to come back. None. That is a lost art nowadays, man. A true lost art. Now everybody had their fair share of heartbreak songs, but to me, nobody sticks out more than Mary J. Blige and Tyrese. And the most important thing to me is that they was able to sing about all of this without being explicit. And yeah, R&B had their freaky songs back in the day, but it was nowhere near the point where there was nothing left to the imagination. You would actually have to listen to know that they was talking crazy back then. And that is yet another lost art nowadays. The art of singing about love without being explicit. The art of speaking about staying together instead of throwing each other under the bus. And most importantly, the art of singing about heartbreak without being extremely toxic. And this is why I love 2000s R&B. This was its magic. The last decade of love.